Hi everyone, I'm Rich. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I wanted to make an update on the Microsoft Surface Book 2 and how it's performing 4 years later now. There's a lot of great things about this laptop. At the same time, there's also a handful of problems that I ran into and so have many others online. So I know for sure I'm not the only one experiencing these. Now in this video, I'll specifically be talking about the Surface Book 2, which is quite literally identical to the Surface Book 3. I mean, nothing has changed at all, which is probably a major reason why I didn't upgrade to the Surface Book 3 this year. But in all honesty, now I'm just going to say it that I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft decides to discontinue the Surface Books in the future. I mean, I think the 3 might be the last one that we're getting now. But speculations aside, how is the Surface Book 2 doing now 4 years later? Once again, the short answer is it's alright. The longer answer is that it's a great laptop for Microsoft, truly. They certainly outdid themselves, bringing us a powerful and detachable laptop that definitely stands out from the crowd. But Microsoft's newest release of the Surface Laptop Studio could be a sign that they're slowly fading out the Surface Book series, because I know that Microsoft knows very well about the problems the Surface Book has. So, let's talk about it. On a lighter note for now, I really do appreciate the Surface Book 2 for what it's worth. It's a well-constructed laptop that is more than capable of handling day-to-day tasks, streaming videos on the internet, taking notes, as well as playing lighter to medium intensive games on the side. Now, I won't lie, the design of the Surface Book is hard to compliment without insulting it. Now what I mean is that it looks really high tech, but at the same time looks kind of old. The Surface Book really, in my opinion, is a work of art. Everything from the sharp edges of the keyboard base to the tablet itself to even the dynamic fulcrum hinge makes you feel like this is a premium laptop, which at the end of the day it is. I mean, there's 2 USB 3.0 ports and an SD card slot on the left hand side, which I'm gonna pause the video right now and just say, Apple, look at what Microsoft was able to do. They could fit 2 USB ports so neatly and tight in their laptops. Why couldn't you do that with the MacBooks? The other side of the laptop has that signature Surface charging dock and only 1 USB-C port. Now that's pretty much it, but one of the more striking features on this laptop is the 3000 by 2000p resolution screen. Now this is definitely one of the more sharper screens out there on a laptop, and this was 4 years ago. It took other laptops, again, Apple, to release their new 14-inch Pro that comes with a 3000 by 2000p resolution screen. Even Microsoft's own laptops like the Surface Laptop 4 and the Surface Laptop Studio don't even have a screen that comes close to the Surface Book series. I mean, the Surface Book really is just that sharp. So yeah, I still think this laptop screen is king, but 4 years ago, this literally blew me away. On the other hand, the Surface Book 2 is packing a lot of power in here. First off, it has an i7-8650U and a GTX 1050 card, which may seem a little dated by today, but I still think this is a killer combination. Now, the laptop is still powerful to complete day-to-day tasks, even editing photos, videos, and games. For reference, I was able to play GTA 5 here on high settings, averaging around 50 to 60 frames per second. Rainbow Six Siege, I was able to run it on medium settings, averaging around 40 frames. So I mean, it's doing really well. I enjoyed gaming on this laptop even though it wasn't made for that. When I used to edit videos on this machine, it was more than capable. Timelines were smooth on DaVinci, I could add effects, I could cut clips, add transitions here and that. It went swell with just a little bit of lag, and when I did add some bigger timelines or 4K clips, then it started to, have a little bit more problems and slow down, get a little bit hotter. But as for an average student, I didn't think this will impact a lot of other people, nor me, because I didn't really edit that many 4K clips and stuff like that back in the day. Today, the performance editing those type of clips may struggle though. Now, of course, I can't forget the elephant in the room and probably the flagship feature of this laptop that quite literally gives it the name of the Surface Book, which is the detachable display. There's a key on the top right corner of the keyboard which allows you to detach the display and use it as a tablet, and this is really a cool feature from Microsoft, which is still probably the only company that makes this today. So yeah, in tablet mode you can do everything you want on it just as if you were using it as a regular tablet. You can watch videos, you can carry this laptop out as if it was your PC in your hands. App icons are increased just a little bit to make it easy for our hands to touch. I used a detachable display for my online textbooks a few years ago and it worked pretty well, but to be honest, it became more of a hassle later on because you had to wait for it to detach and then you gotta put it back on carefully. Then you might run into some problems like you gotta close some windows and apps. This, my friends, is the very start of some of the problems I have with the Surface Book. Now, I know for sure that I'm not the only one experiencing these problems because There's a huge community forum on the Microsoft website of people having the same problems as me. So I think it's safe to say that Microsoft knows this, but their help is not really that helpful. Problem number 1. The tablet mode is starting to feel more unreliable. The laptop has to stay rigid at all times. What I mean by that is the laptop is held in by 2 strong magnets on the side and 3 connector ports in the middle, but it's not strong enough to stop it from wobbling. And when it wobbles slightly, that's when the Surface tablet starts to disconnect. For example, it'll start doing something like this. This means the laptop loses power from the keyboard. Some apps would freeze, a lot of apps would crash and close. Then let's say I had a hard drive connected to my keyboard, then it would disconnect from me. This whole dilemma would go on for around 5 to 15 minutes. I mean, I would just let my laptop sit there and it would just did-a-dun, did-a-dun. After it completely stabilizes, then the laptop can be used, but then I find myself like maybe touching the table a little bit or bumping it just slightly, and then the problems are back, rendering it kind of unusable. Problem number 2, the Surface Book doesn't really do a good job knowing when it's closed. There's been multiple instances where I would close the laptop, put it to sleep, even actually go and put it on to sleep manually, only for the display not to turn off. It would just shine super bright still, as if it didn't close at all. Maybe the camera or sensors aren't able to recognize this. And the third problem is battery drain. Probably just as big as a problem as these others, but for example, let's say you do put the laptop on sleep or you close it again. Sometimes, occasionally, the laptop will get super hot and start draining the battery. For example, I'd have my classes back freshman year around 12 p.m. and I'd come home at night only to find that my backpack is super warm. I'd pull out the Surface Book and find that it's like really hot, and then I open it up to see that it drained from 80% all the way down to 5 to even 10%. I really don't know. I tried searching this up. The fans start kicking in. Microsoft, please send help. And look, I think I've taken care of this machine pretty well. I mean, there's hardly any scratches on this machine, any bumps or dings. I didn't drop it. I didn't spill anything on it. I've taken care of this thing as if it was my baby. Now, obviously you've seen that enter key. That's no big of a deal. I kind of got a crumb stuck in there and pulled out the key. Now the key couldn't get back on, so don't worry about that. But as you can see, finally not all laptops are perfect. I really do believe the whole idea of the Microsoft Surface Book series are really cool. The display is amazing. The hardware that's packed in this machine is great. Overall, the experience is very premium, but the problems are catching up. And that's why I kind of regret getting the Surface Book 2. So hopefully if you are on the market for a Surface Book, I don't recommend it. This is just my own personal opinion and my personal problems, but many other people are having these problems as well. So there's plenty of good Windows laptops out there like Lenovo's or even Microsoft's own Surface laptops. But hey, that's all I have for this video. If you liked it, leave a like down below. Comment if you have something to say. Are you looking at getting this laptop? Do you have one yourself? Do you have problems? How's your Surface Book doing if you do have it? Otherwise, hit that subscribe button, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.